dear, the lights again. Whenever there's a storm, they flicker and fade.
I'll call the electrician in the morning.
Won't do much good. Everything here in Crimson House is so old and worn. Not to mention the lights and the plumbing. Who left those doors open?
I'll attend to them, Mrs. Fitzwilliam.
Mr. Russell wasn't due until morning. It's inconsiderate of new boarders to call up at the last moment and change things about.
Yes, Mrs. Fitzwilliam.
That's better. I don't like it when the lights flicker and fade. It gives me the creeps.
Shall I get you something, Mrs. Fitzwilliam?
For what?
Your creeps.
There is no medication that I know of for the creeps. It's not like having a headache or an anxiety attack.
Most perceptive, Mrs. Fitzwilliam.
You can say that again.
If you don't mind, Mrs. Fitzwilliam, I'd rather not. I don't like to repeat myself. I tire easily. I mean, once a thing's been said, that ought to be the end of it. What's the sense of going on and on about something? On and on and on.
Now who might that be?
Sounds like that strange Miss Strange. Shall I let her in?
Don't be idiotic, Jeeves. She's already in.
I'll see how the cook is getting on with dinner.
I'll get rid of these wet things here in the hallway.
Jeeves,
Yes, madam?
that way leads to the solarium. That way leads to the dining room and kitchen.
I have a poor sense of direction.
Any fool knows that, but I overlook it because you're kind.
Thank you, Miss Fitzroy.
Fitzwilliam.
Whatever.
A dark and gloomy night.
All nights are dark, and when it rains, they're gloomy.
I knew it would. That's why I took my umbrella. That's why I wore my raincoat.
That hat and veil look hardly appropriate for rain.
This? I put this on in the hallway. I always keep it on the hook by the mirror. I consider it part of my personality. I feel incomplete without my hat and veil.
No doubt it comes from playing the murderess in so many bad plays.
I have never been in a bad play in my life. A lot of flops, yes, but no bad plays.
You're talking nonsense, Faye.
Have you forgotten my performance in And Then They Were Numb?
Since I never saw your performance, I can hardly be expected to recall it.
I was brilliant.
I'll take your word for it.
In the Bat Sings of Midnight, the critics said I was inspired. They said I was the best stage villainess in years.
First nonsense and now gibberish. I have no time for this foolish talk. Have you got it?
You're so hateful.
Have you got it?
Yes, a part of it at least.
I want it all.
Hateful and greedy. I'll need a little more time for the rest.
It's entirely up to you, my dear. If you feel the rent at my boarding hotel isn't worth it.
I didn't say that. All I said was I would need a little more time to get the rest.
Very well. I'll give you until tomorrow, noon. Otherwise, you know what will happen.
Not intruding, am I? Ah, there you are. Anguish Crispy, my favorite mystery playwright. I just got through telling Miss Fitzwilliam that the critics loved me as the villainess in your famous play, And Then They Were Numb. Were you in that? Anyways, I'm writing a new play. Oh, good.
I hope there will be a part in it for young Miss Strange. She needs money. Acting is such a nervous profession when it comes to making a living.
You ought to know. You are on the stage yourself. You told me so.
I was amateur, of course, in one of Anguish Christie's plays. I played the part of a ballerina with 11 toes.
Murder delicious.
Yes, murder delicious. That reminds me, I'm getting hungry.
What do you call your new play, Miss Crispy?
I'm thinking of calling it Murder in Progress.
Murder in Progress. I like that. I hope the murderer turns out to be a woman. I'm so good at being bad.
Are you sure you were in And Then They Were Numb?
Orchids are peculiar flowers, aren't they?
Why are you studying my orchids?
I'm not studying your orchids, Mrs. Fitzwilliam. I'm studying what's on them.
On them?
Bugs.
Bugs? Ugh.
No, bugs on orchids are quite interesting. What attracts the orchids? That's what I'm trying to find out. Most orchids have no scent. This one, for example.
That's a misconception, Mr. Palegrave. Most orchids do have scent. Sometimes the scent is pungent and overpowering.
You're absolutely right, Miss Fitzwilliam. In my famous play, Who Murdered Hermit Fish, the killer's weapon was a vile glass of iced tea made from the squash blossom of a rare Amazon orchid.
Fascinating.
my detective was able to solve the case by sniffing what appeared to be innocent ice cubes, thereby identifying the murder weapon.
Orchid juice.
Orchid juice? My, that is a clever weapon. You're so inventive, Miss Crispy.
Orchid juice? I don't like the sound of that. I hope it doesn't give anyone any ideas.
It's a thought.
Beg pardon, Mrs. Fitzwillie.
What is it?
There's been a disappearance.
A disappearance? Who?
Not who. What?
What are you blabbering about this time, Jeeves?
Cook says a loaf of French bread has disappeared.
French bread?
It was on the dining room table, next to the imperial margarine. Cook put it there, now it's gone.
Obviously, it's been misplaced.
Don't be silly. One doesn't misplace a loaf of French bread. Perhaps someone ate it.
The whole loaf.
Yesterday, a beef pot pie disappeared from the refrigerator.
Hardly the crime of the century.
It was all beef, no vegetables. Last week, someone drank half a bottle of milk, left what was remaining outside the back door, where it went sour. Even the cat wouldn't touch it.
If there's no French bread for dinner, put out crackers.
We're out of crackers. We don't even have oyster crackers.
Then use matzo.
No matzo.
Then put out carrot sticks and celery.
As you wish, Mrs. Fizzleroy. No French bread at dinner. A scandal. That's a scandal.
Poor old Jeeves. His mind does wander.
One day, it will wander so far, it will never come back.
Time for dinner?
There's no French bread.
In the library again, Miss Russell? You're turning into a scholar.
The house doesn't have television and I'm not much for listening to the radio. Reading helps pass the time.
I do wish you had told me your husband was arriving this evening instead of tomorrow morning.
What difference does it make?
The maid has to get out fresh towels, clean linen. The arrival of a new boarder at Crimson House requires preparation. Besides, Jeeves doesn't like surprises.
Not even oyster crackers.
Sorry?
No French bread and no oyster crackers.
We're having carrot sticks instead.
Carrot sticks or celery. Don't overlook the possibility of celery.
To whom are you calling?
How's that?
She asked, whom are you calling? I love the way Mrs. Fitzwilliam talks. Whom? Whom? What kind of words? Whom? Not the two.
You, Mr. Palebrave, are an odd young person, and I will thank you to not pick orchids or any other bit of flora from my solarium. If you wish to study bugs, I suggest you go outside and play in the dirt.
It's been raining. There won't be any bugs in the rain.
Wait until morning.
Smart thinking.
I'll call some other time.
I wasn't being rude, Mrs. Russell. I just wanted to ascertain that the call was a local one.
That's another good word. Ascertain. Sounds like something you put on an insect bite.
There you go again, Mr. Palegrave, talking about bugs. Did you ever read Dracula?
I've heard of that. Did you write that one too?
Hardly. Dracula was written in the last century.
Sorry.
The point is, in Dracula, there's a character named Renfield who's fascinated by bugs.
Fascinated by bugs? My.
He ate them.
Isn't that uninteresting?
Delivery.
Oh, what now?
It's that delivery person again. In and out and in, all hours.
I wonder what he's delivering this time.
Where do you want it?
Don't tell me. Let me guess. It's a pizza.
You got it. One bologna pizza with pineapple chunks and coconut. Heavy on the poppy seeds.
It's Jeeves again. He's always ordering these things. He orders and forgets.
I can't stand here holding this on. Idris, I've got other deliveries to make.
How is it you're delivering a pizza? I thought you delivered flowers and boxes of fruit.
The speedy delivery service. Don't quiver, we deliver anything. On day or night.
I will have to do something about Jeeves. This can't go on.
Dinner is served.
I suggest we go in.
He ordered the pizza.
Here you go, Pops. Enjoy.
Pops.
What's this?
It's the pizza you ordered.
I ordered a pizza?
Yes?
When?
A while ago, I imagine.
How extraordinary. I don't like pizza. I never eat pizza. Where's the French bread?
If you don't want pizza, why don't you put it in the freezer?
That's a good idea. I'll put it in the freezer. What kind of pizza is it?
The delivery person said it was bologna with pineapple chunks and coconut, heavy on the poppy seeds.
Jeeves?
Yes, miss?
The freezer is in the kitchen. You don't want to put the pizza in the library.
Certainly not. Whoever heard of putting pizza in the library? Makes no sense at all.
Miss Russell.
Who are you?
I am Hercules Porridge, the famous Hoboken detective.
Hercules Porridge, the famous Hoboken detective.
I just said that.
A moment ago I dialed your number. I've been trying to get you all day. Why don't you have an answering machine?
Whatever you've got to say to me, you can say in person.
I have nothing to say to you except this. I no longer have use for your services.
You sure changed your tune in a hurry.
It's a woman's prerogative to change her mind.
It's probably less here than meets the private eye. Let me scan your file.
Please stop saying that.
What? According to this report, you suspect your husband is being blackballed.
Blackmailed.
That's right, blackmailed.
It's a mistake. I overreacted.
He's been drawing out large sums of moolah from your joint bank account.
I have a vivid imagination. Sometimes it gets out of control, simply because a man draws out large sums from the bank. There's no reason to suspect blackball.
Blackmail.
I think you'd better go now. My husband would be furious if he found out.
Your husband is a successful young TV expletive, right?
Leon is in television, yes, but he's not an expletive. He's an executive.
My eyes are getting bad. Can't read my own writing. Maybe I should see an octopus.
I wish you'd see yourself to the front door. That's what I wish.
Said he made me give up a lovely penthouse apartment, complete with microwave, and move into a dump of a hotel. Where is this dump?
You're in it. This is it. Crimson House. But your foot is in the wastebasket.
Huh?
Your foot?
What do you know? My gumshoe got stuffed. It's all clear to Hercules Porridge, Mrs. Russell.
What's clear?
That your first impression was right. No young TV executive takes his money from the bank and moves to a low-rent hotel without good reason. Plainly, the moolah goes to a blackmailer, and there isn't enough left over to live high on the hog.
Who's talking about hogs?
Ipso facto, blackmail.
Crimson House isn't inexpensive. It costs a lot of money to stay here. A small fortune.
Food must be great, huh?
It's dreadful. The only advantage is that you can lose weight.
Who's that?
Who?
Some character with a pizza box.
That must have been Jeeves.
Gee, what kind of name is that?
He's the butler.
A place like this has a butler? I didn't even know butlers existed outside of mystery stories.
He's forgetful.
Like my father.
Your father?
Yeah, my father. Hercules Porridge, the famous Hoboken detective.
You mean you're not Hercules Porridge?
Of course I'm Hercules Porridge. Junior.
Junior?
Pop's been on vacation for the last 6 months. His nerves are shot. I've been taking his cases.
You might have said something when I first called.
What difference does it make? One Hercules Porridge is as good as another.
How many cases have you solved?
Actually, this will be my first case. But don't be too hasty to discharge me.
You really think my first impression was correct?
Count on it. Let me have a word with your husband. It might clear things up.
He's not here yet. Jeeves!
He went outside with the pizza.
What am I thinking of? The poor man. He might wander off. He has no sense of direction. He's looking for the freezer. Jeeves! Jeeves! Come back, Jeeves! You've gone the wrong way again.
Come on, darn wastebasket.
What a bizarre young person.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I've got my foot stuck.
So I see. You, I take it, are Mr. Russell. We weren't expecting you until morning.
You don't have a shoehorn handy by any chance?
If you damage that wastebasket, you'll have to pay for it.
I don't want to damage it. I want to get out of it.
How did you get in it?
Accident.
Follow me. I'll see what I can do.
You're on.
What's happened to the lights?
What do you think's happened? They've gone out.
They'll be back on. It's the rain. This old house is such a nuisance. Where's Jeeves? Who knows?
Who cares?
Anybody got a flashlight?
That's an intelligent suggestion.
Who are you? This is Mr. Russell.
Penny's husband. We've been expecting you.
I have a flashlight. For goodness sake, use it. Will do.
Where's the fuse box?
In the basement.
Then why are we in here?
Those will be garden uninvited, yes.
Yes, but who is it?
He didn't make a reservation.
The lights. That's better.
You there. Who are you?
Why doesn't he answer?
What's the matter with him?
Hold the wastebasket.
Wastebasket? What do I want with the wastebasket?
Poor Jeeves. He's really lost it this time. I think we ought to organize a search party.
I think we have more important things to worry about.
Like what?
This corpse is dead.
Dead?
And unless my instinct stinks, he's been murdered.
Murder? Calm yourself, my dear. You don't understand. The man in the chair. I know him anywhere.
Why?
He's my husband.
You mean he was?
Husband? Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. Don't you think I know my own husband?
Then who are you?
Hercules Porridge.
The famous Hoboken detective. I know you anywhere. Except that you don't look like you.
Never fear, Hercules Porridge is back on the case.
Back on the case. What do you mean back on the case? What case?
The Crimson House murder. What else?
Dinner is served.
He said he was supposed to arrive this morning. He said he called up yesterday and said he was changing his plans. He'd arrive a day early.
That's right. Is it important?
Everything's important on a case like this.
Poor Mrs. Russell. So young. So tragic. Who is it, Shirley?
Who's Shirley?
The maid.
Better write that down. Maid's name is Shirley.
Hello.
Hi.
May I help you?
Can you tell me where to find Mr. Palegrave?
You mean Mark?
Mark Palegrave? Yes. He's a guest here, isn't he?
Definitely. He's been here for months. I'm Rebecca Fitzwilliam. I own Crimson House.
You a friend of Mr. Palegrave's?
I am.
Friday a.m. Visitor arrived to see one Mark Palegrave. Not bad looking. What's your name, Sugar?
Whatever it is, it isn't sugar. Who is this?
Hercules.
Hercules? No one is named Hercules.
Guess again. Hercules Porridge.
Porridge? You mean like cream of wheat?
He's the famous Hoboken detective.
Never heard of him.
Never?
I hadn't heard of him either until the unfortunate event.
What unfortunate event.
You haven't heard. The news is all over the neighborhood.
He was sitting in that chair.
You mean Mark Palegrave?
The deceased.
Deceased?
Alive and kicking one moment, a dead pigeon the next.
Mark Palegrave is deceased?
Murdered, most likely.
Murdered? Oh, this is terrible news. I better sit down.
No! Not there. I might want to dust for fingerprints.
That's where we found him. The lights were out. What a night.
Not a breath left in him.
Oh.
What luck, Mrs. Fitzwilliam? I've caught a spider mite and a mealybug. Both look like rare specimens to me.
Not as rare as you, Mr. Palegrave.
You're alive!
Of course I'm alive. What are you doing here, Bridget? Would I see a spider mite?
No, I would not like to see a spider mite. These people said you were dead. They said you were probably murdered.
Murder? Me? I mean,
You misunderstood, my dear.
So it seems the corpus delectable wasn't Mr. Palegrave.
I can see that for myself.
It was Penny's husband.
Penny. Penny who?
Not Penny who, Penny Russell. The sprouts of the dearly departed.
Spouse.
Miss Moriarty used to work for me.
How nice.
Is there someplace we could talk in private?
What better place in the garden? We can talk while I trap bugs.
Sounds romantic.
Idiot.
She must mean you.
Mind your manners.
Sorry, private detectives can't afford manners. good or bad?
No one's ever died in this room before.
What can I say? Win some, you lose some. So, tell me, Miss Fitzwilliam, about your, hotel.
It's a boarding hotel, a cross between a boarding house and a wayside inn.
That's not what I mean. Why is it called Crimson House? The house is blue.
When you look up at it from the bottom of the hill, the house looks red.
Oh, I get it. An optical delusion.
I don't think I understand, Mr. Porridge. You were here before any murder took place. Who hired you?
Sorry, confidential. By the way, Miss Fitzwilliam, this sofa is the pits. It's got more lumps than a dinosaur's back. I didn't get 2 winks of shut-eye. You'd have garage sale and get rid of this junk.
If I had known you were staying, I would have had a room made up for you.
No sense in going back to Hoboken. It's a long way away. So, how long has the cook been with you?
Why do you ask?
Her bacon tastes like the inside of an old tennis shoe. Instead of the toast, I got a carrot stick, and the coffee was so weak it wouldn't even stain my trench coat.
Since you're not a paying guest, I will overlook your complaints. I suspect it was Mrs. Russell who hired you.
That wouldn't make much sense, would it?
Why not?
I was here before the Corpus Delectable showed up.
She could have hired you for some other reason.
You're a quick thinker. You ought to write mysteries.
You've got me confused with Anguish Crispy. If anyone can make sense out of what's happened, it's Miss Crispy.
Thanks. I appreciate your confidence in me.
You, Mrs. Rebecca Fitzwallace?
There is no one here by that name.
Who are you?
I am Mrs. Rebecca Fitzwilliam.
Fitzwilliam Fitzwallace. What's the difference?
They're spelled different.
Who are you?
Hercules Porridge.
The famous Hoboken detective?
The same.
Who are you trying to kid? You look nothing like Hercules Porridge. Why, you're young enough to be his son.
I am his son. I'm junior.
It won't be easy to live up to a name like Porridge.
This isn't getting us anywhere. Who are you?
Detective Bobby, City Police. And this here is Officer Mulligan, my partner.
And Detective Bobby is my partner.
For all we know, you could be phony. Let me get a closer look at that ID.
Why not? You pay taxes.
Why don't you sit down, Detective Booby?
The name is Bobby. Detective Bobby. Not Booby.
Bobby Booby, what's the difference?
Detective Bobby gets very upset when citizens call her Booby.
I'm not surprised.
I will sit. It's been a tough morning.
Not there!
No!
Huh? Hercules Porridge might want to dust for fingerprints.
Fingerprints? Why would you want to do that, Porridge?
My gut feeling tells me Leon Russell was murdered.
You private detectives all think alike. We have a perfectly ordinary case of heart failure, and you're trying to turn it into murder. What a meatball.
You said it, Bobby. What a meatball.
Heart failure? Is that what it was?
That's my guess.
Then why are you and Officer Mulligan here?
It's all routine.
I want to speak with Mrs. Russell.
Jeez.
Yes, Mrs. Fizzlestick?
Fitzwilliam, Jeeves. Fitzwilliam!
Whatever.
Go fetch Mrs. Russell. Upstairs.
Mrs. Russell, upstairs. At once, madam.
Jeeves.
Yes, madam?
That way.
Yes, of course. When I'm thinking of that way. I take it he works here?
He gets lost here is what you mean.
He's the butler.
You won't get much out of him, Bobby. He's got a mind like a cobweb.
Hello in there. What ho?
Who's that? I'm afraid that could be my neighbor.
It's some Mulgiver with a rifle.
What's the problem?
I'll explain. My neighbor is Colonel Chutney. He's eccentric. He thinks he's in England. He thinks it's 1880. He can get nervous. Please don't aggravate him.
Gotcha.
Neighbor is Colonel Chutney, a nutcase.
Hi ho, what an all. Fine day for constitutional, eh? Nothing like a brisk walk for one's health. Good Queen Victoria, bless her, advocates exercise for the liver.
And onions.
I'm afraid you've come at a bad time, Colonel Chutney.
Bad time, what on earth are you talking about, old girl?
A gentleman died in his house last evening.
Shot down by some treacherous bandit, no doubt. The hills are full of them, the swine. I shall inform Calcutta. They'll send troops to put down the uprising.
You'd better underline that case.
In red pencil.
It's been a good hunt, enough, Rebecca. Look, I brought you for din-din. Oh. With the first light, I said to myself, good day for hunting chutney. Out of bed, old boy, shoot something.
You got a license for that rifle?
Don't need one, ma'am. I'm a retired officer in Her Majesty's Army, Royal Munster Fusiliers. When I squeeze the trigger, I never miss. They call me Hawkeye Chutney. This was sitting on a log in my fish pond, and I said to myself, Chutney, be a good neighbor, and bag this bird for Rebecca.
What is it?
Not sure, but I wager it's tasty.
Jeeves,
Yes, madam?
Colonel Chutney has brought us a chicken.
A chicken, madam.
More like a cuckoo bird. Take it to cook. Tell her to make me a sandwich. Hold the mail.
Whatever you say, madam.
We'll have the autopsy report in a few hours.
I bet it was hill bandits. They're a bloodthirsty lot, the swine.
No offense, Colonel Mustard, but I've got work to do.
Who's Colonel Mustard?
You're Colonel Mustard.
I'm Colonel Mustard.
You must be. You just admitted it.
No, booby, he's Chutney.
Bobby! Bobby! The name is Bobby. Why can't people get it straight?
Didn't you tell the butler to take the chicken to the cook?
I did.
Then why is he going to the potting shed?
He'll realize his mistake in time.
Jeeves ain't much when it comes to a road map.
I'll leave at once for the Foreign Office. I shall file a report about hill bandits, the swine.
You do that, Colonel.
You have nothing to fear, Rebecca. Colonel Hawkeye Chutney's on the case. Attack!
My goodness! That man shouldn't be allowed out without a leash.
I've seen them all in my racket, but the Colonel is unique. He's living in the ozone.
There, you'll be all right. I wish you'd stop babying me. Well, you've had a terrible experience. There's no need to remind me.
There's Mrs. Russell now. Good.
Is it here, Mrs. Russell? This is Detective Bobby, Officer Mulligan.
If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I appreciate your willingness to cooperate. I'll be brief.
Penny's so brave. She reminds me of the character I played in Where There's a Will, There's a Murder. I played the part of an ex-murderess.
Is that a fact? Miss Strange is an actress. I figured as much.
The butler has left the potting shed. I can't see the chicken.
I understand you made the identification. Does your husband have a history with heart problems? I think your husband came into this room and sat down because he wasn't feeling so hot.
Then kick the bucket.
Kick the bucket! Kick the bucket! What a crude thing to say. Ignore that police creature. She has no heart.
What'd I say?
Here, Penny. I've made you a nice cup of hot tea. It'll make you feel better.
That's kind of you, Miss Crispy. I couldn't swallow it, not a drop. All I want to do is go back to my penthouse apartment and forget the terrible event at Crimson House.
Murder ain't easy to drop from memory.
Murder? Who's talking about murder?
Why is Junior Porridge here? I asked for his assistance, or rather his father's assistance. How come?
Sorry, confidential. Code of the private eye. My lips are sealed.
I no longer have use for his services. Well, in that case, Hercules, pack up your duds and get lost. You private detectives only water the mud.
Water the mud? You have a colorful way of turning a phrase.
I may not be too smart, but I ain't dull.
I don't have any duds to pack.
Anything else, Detective Bobby? I want you to stick around until the autopsy report comes in. I understand.
He's gone back into the potting shed.
Oh. I want you out of this house, and I want you out now.
Boy, is she rude.
Delivery.
What now?
Where do you want it? Oh, now this time it's a box of chocolates imported all the way from Pennsylvania.
Give it to Cook. She'll know what to do with it. And let yourself out the back. We're busy here.
What is that? I'm going to just move in.
It's my butler. He's always ordering things, and then he forgets.
Good news! He found the chicken!
If you'll excuse me.
practice.
Who's Dr. Throwback?
I told you to get lost. I'll ask the questions. Who's Dr. Throwback?
A psychiatrist.
The last thing Miss Russell requires is a psychiatrist.
Aren't you even going to dust your fingerprints?
That does it. Mulligan, ma'am, take Mr. Porridge to the front door and kick him out.
All right, I get the message. I'm going. My guts are never wrong.
If you don't get out of here soon, your guts are going to be spilled. Detective Bobby has a short temper.
It's getting shorter.
What do cops know?
I'll get out of your way now. Have a nice day.
Detective Booby.
It's not booby. Oh, forget it.
Watch out, Bobby, it's a
Here's your sandwich meat.
I hope there'll be a funeral for Mr. Russell. I'm fond of funerals.
That was a stupid thing to do, mentioning the name of Dr. Throwback.
I didn't mean to do it. The name just slipped out.
It's almost noon, Faye. Have you got the rest of your rent money?
I'll have it. Never fear.
It's not me who has to worry, it's you. Do you have your rent, Anguish?
Don't I always? $1,000 a week for rent.
A fair price for a stay at Crimson House.
My checkbook is in the dining room, in my bag.
Excellent. Come along, Faye. We'll all have a cup of tea and a little chat, like old friends. Bring the chicken.
One day there will be a murder in this house.
She'll hear you.
You won't get away with this. Want to bet? You're a crook. That's who you are.
But I've come to the wrong place, haven't I? Besides, who are you to talk?
Keep your voice down.
Don't give me any orders.
I always thought you were a nice secretary.
I am a nice secretary. I am a nice secretary who knows what she's doing and knows what she wants.
I shouldn't be like this. I'm not well.
You don't fool me. I know exactly what you're doing. When your father discovers you've embezzled over $1 million from the family business, you will try to fake a nervous breakdown.
You're wicked. That's what you are.
That's why you wear the stupid clothes. So people think you've gone mad. I can help you out.
How?
I'm in charge of the accounting department now. I can build the books and no one will be the wiser. You put in the money, haven't you?
Have I?
I want to share. A big share.
If I don't agree,
I'll inform the police.
you wouldn't dare.
Wouldn't I? Think of the scandal, the shame, the publicity. You'll be ruined. Ruined! Ah!
See, I'm the one who hired you. I created a Frankenstein monster. Yes, that's what I've done. I've hired the one person who could destroy me. Oh, what am I going to do?
Who screamed? Who's that? I don't know who it is, but he's wearing one of my lampshades. Look, it's Hercules Porridge!
I don't want to alarm anyone, but this corpse is dead.
Dad!
Another one?
Positive.
There's a poison dart sticking out of her neck. I know that poison.
What is it?
Comes from the Amazon. This dart was dipped in venomous orchid juice.
Orchid juice? It's like a page torn out of Who Murdered Hermit Fish!
You're on, Miss Crispy. It's like a page torn out of life. Or a page torn out of murder. The question is not who murdered Hermit Fish, but who murdered Bridget Moriarty.
Who's Bridget Moriarty? Who done it?
I don't know who done it, but it wasn't the butler. Has anyone seen a runaway chicken?
Spicy.
too hot.
Crimson House, is the butler speaking? How may we be of service? Speak up, please. I can't hear you. Anybody on the other end? Must have been a wrong number. I better spray the kitchen for whiteflies and roaches. It's going to rain again soon. It's going to be a dark and stormy night. I can tell.
This is the case of a lifetime. Imagine murder. Excuse me, mister, can you tell us where they found the body? It's a nice garden. Just a sort of place to bury someone. Gruesome thought. We don't want to trouble anyone. Maybe he didn't hear well.
Aha, don't tell me. Let me guess. Reporters.
Student report. We're from Mount Bank.
Huh?
The college at the foot of the hill. Everybody knows Mount Bank.
Oh, yeah, sure. Mount Bank.
We have to come up with something sensational for our journalism class. When we heard about a woman killed with a poison dart, we knew this was it. You have to admit, a murder with a poison dart is pretty sensational.
How did you get in here?
We didn't ignore them. The butler didn't say anything. Anything wrong?
There was supposed to be a police guard.
Are you a policeman?
Close, but not close enough. I am Hercules Porridge, the famous Hoboken detective. You must have heard of Hercules Porridge. Well, never mind. You've heard of me now. So when you write up the crime, focus on Hercules Porridge. He's the colorful, masterful, and determined. Hercules Porridge is always good for circulation.
So you don't work with the police?
I work alone. I'm in complete charge of this baffling case. Like Sherlock Holmes, I like a weird mystery. And if a man likes weird, this is the place to be.
We'll be happy to feature you in our article, Mr. Porridge.
Feel free to ask me anything about crime and detective work, but make it quick. Even though the butler let you here, you're not supposed to be here. Keep out of sight.
Who discovered the body?
I discovered the body, I discovered the murder weapon, and I, Hercules Porridge, will discover the murderer. Or murderess, as the case may be.
You're real fine.
Whoever murdered this corpse came from that direction.
What's in there?
Orchids.
Orchids?
It's a solarium.
What's a solarium?
Students are all alike, show and tell. Come along and we'll expound on the theory of criminal detection.
What a great. How's this really? Murder in the solarium. I like the crimson corpse better. Boy, are we gonna get extra credit? Look! It's the woman's body in white chalk. Gross. Always do that when there's a murder. Turns my blood cold. Write down your reaction. Otherwise, you might block it from your memory.
It's not a good idea to keep Hercules Porridge, the famous Hoboken detective, waiting. Remember what I told you, you're here on borrowed time. You can't afford to waste a moment.
Sorry.
Come along. Don't touch anything. I may want to dust for fingerprints.
Fingerprints?
Looking for me, dear.
Looking for you and hoping I wouldn't find you.
Have you got it?
Every last penny. Good. You're the only woman I know who can get blood from a stone.
How you talk, referring to yourself as a stone.
Blackmail's a dirty game.
I'm not interested in your opinion, only your money. Come with me, I'll write you a receipt.
There's already been one murder in Crimson House. Aren't you afraid there might be another?
Attack! Who? What? Okay, come on, don't you're under arrest! Lost in the boat of little bandits? The swine.
Oh, you Colonel Chutney.
Of course it's me. Don't I look like me? I've got to call the law office.
You're not supposed to be here, Colonel Teddy. Police procedure when there's a murder.
Silence!
Well, Miss Hawkeye Chutney here. The hill tribes were in rebellion. The bloodshed is awful. Only a short time ago, a poor woman was ambushed and destroyed with a poisonous dart. Probably pygmies. Send in the troops. Send in the heavy artillery. And don't forget hot tea and jelly donuts. Hello? Hello? Anybody there? Drat. We've been cut off. They've cut the wires. The swine. Colonel Chutney here. Hawkeye Chutney. Hello? Could you speak up, please? I can't seem to get you.
No. That was the doorbell you heard, not the telephone.
Eh?
It was the doorbell.
Well, why didn't you say so? Lost in inefficiency. That's what's wrong with the army these days. No discipline. None at all.
Bad news for Miss Fitzwilliam.
Not another body.
Good heavens, no.
Then what's the bad news?
The cook.
The cook?
The cook has quit.
That's good news.
She has a new job. Cooking at McDonald's.
Well, your loss is McDonald's loss.
She left you in the lurch.
Better lurch than lunch. Cook wasn't much when it came to cuisine.
Is there today? She should be shot. Put up against the wall and shot. Traitorous swine. Good show. Headquarters has sent Florence Nightingale. Welcome, Miss Nightingale. Welcome.
I'm not Florence Nightingale. 9.
10. I am Colonel Chutney. Have you got supplies?
Supplies.
Bandages, iodine, jelly donuts.
Ah, I see. That's the subaltern. No, I've not brought supplies.
Drat. One more obstacle on the path to victory. No matter. Come along, lads. We'll fight the battle without medical supplies and jelly donuts. And we'll win. Attack! There we go again.
I hope he doesn't trip and break anything.
Last week, he broke the bird bath. I suppose you're with the police department?
9. I work for the Helping Hands Nurses Registry. He must be my new patient.
You've got your work cut out for you.
Colonel Chutney doesn't need a nurse.
He needs a keeper.
He doesn't reside here. He's a neighbor.
Then he is not my new patient. I lost this little paper with their name written down. I must call the registry.
There's the phone.
I will call.
I imagine it's Penny Russell who needs the nurse. Poor child, she's obviously not as strong as we thought.
It's a sad case.
Not as sad as the case of Bridget Moriarty. All those police photographers snapping pictures, asking questions, and chalking up the floor. However, I must confess, I find the murder fascinating. Imagine. Orchid juice. Truth copies fiction.
Yeah, I guess.
Is something wrong?
It was the answering machine. I made of flesh and blood. I refuse to talk to a machine.
Do you have a name, miss?
Everybody has a name.
Yes, I know, but what is yours?
I am Nurse Payne. Please, no jokes.
I dated a dentist once, and his name was Dr. Candy.
In my popular mystery play, Hot Chocolate is No Place for Arsenic, I called the veterinarian Dr. Wolf. I thought it was amusing.
Right, that does not seem funny to me. Wolf.
Oh, I get it. Dr. Wolf dated animals, so you gave him an animal name.
There you have it.
I don't think it's funny either.
Mulligan!
Oh no, it's her! Superior Detective Bobby!
Mulligan!
Ma'am?
Didn't I give you strict orders to stand guard at the front door?
Yes, ma'am.
So no one would come in and no one would go out.
Yes, ma'am.
Then what are you doing in here? What?
It was Colonel Teddy.
What about him?
He came in to use the telephone and I had to throw him out.
That's different. I've got a patrol car sitting across the street, but if I catch anyone in here who shouldn't be, I'm going to arrest them.
Any news, Booby?
I'll make it easy for you. Don't call me Bobby, and don't call me Booby. Just call me defective. I mean detective.
What about Mrs. Moriarty? What have you discovered? What revelations have you made?
Miss Crispy, would you mind not talking like a character in one of your creepy mystery stories? It makes me nervous.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Get the others in here.
Like who?
Like the suspects, that's like who. I want Miss Strange, Mrs. Russell, Mark Palegrave Jeeves, and Mrs. Fitzwilliam in here. Fast!
I'm coming! I'm coming!
I think I'm losing my mind. That's it. That's why I'm laugh. I'm mad! Mad.
The boy is definitely not well.
Aha, this must be my new patient.
Who's the nurse?
Her name is Payne.
How did she get in?
Through a door, I imagine.
I can't remember anything I've done. I have no past. My mind's a blank. Who am I?
He's got magnesia.
A classic case of looking out the past. I've seen it before.
Who are you?
Nurse Payne.
They're coming!
Miss Strange and Miss Fitzwilliam.
I said all of them.
He'll find Miss Russell upstairs.
Move! I'm going! Somebody has moved the kitchen! He gets worse and worse! Jeeves, sit down. I have a few questions.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to see Harkit, I have a few questions.
I only wish Dr. Throwback were here.
Who?
Dr. Throwback?
Oh, yeah, the foot doctor.
Dr. Throwback wasn't a foot doctor.
I thought you said he was a podiatrist.
I said he was a psychiatrist.
Officer Mulligan said you wanted to see me, detective.
Sit down, I have a few questions. Where is that Jeeves character? Someone ought to put a bell around his neck. Everybody nice and comfy?
Now that you've mentioned it, I'd rather sit over there.
I'd rather sit there.
I prefer to sit at the desk.
I have no objection if you'd wish to change.
Let's.
Hey, what is this? What's going on?
It's like musical chairs. Movie Bobby. Think that Bobby.
Everybody, back where you were. Can't have people moving all over the place when I'm trying to think. Gets too confusing. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, the Moriarty dame. She worked for you, Mr. Pilgrave?
Who are you? Who am I? Who are they?
That's a case of looking out the past. I've seen it before.
You mean he's lost his memory?
That's so.
What kind of funny farm is this place? As if that Jeeves and that Colonel Mustard weren't bad enough.
That's probably for Colonel Chutney, the War Office.
Will you clam up?
Oh, it's the coroner's office. I told him he could reach me here. Hello?
Detective Bobby here. Yes, I see. Thank you, Doctor. Wow, that's more than interesting. I never would have suspected. Oh, you are so right, Doctor. Okay. Have a nice day. Thank you. I'll get right on it. I have startling news. That was the coroner's office.
Yeah, we gathered.
I have some hard news for you, Mrs. Russell.
Not more dreadful news!
It's about your husband. Seems it wasn't heart failure after all.
Murder?
Yeah, it was murder.
Am I?
Was it poison? Was it orchid juice?
It was poison, but it wasn't orchid juice.
What was it?
I'll ask the questions here if you don't mind. Everybody wants to be a detective. Everybody wants to be a gumshoe.
I don't want gum on my shoe.
The coroner said Mr. Russell had enough white fly bug spray in his tummy to wipe out buffalo. Bug spray? Looking for something?
Maybe he's playing 52 card pickup.
Mulligan?
Yeah.
Stop talking. You make me nervous. Get up.
Hi.
I thought I tossed you out, Junior.
You've got to listen to me, Bobby. I can be a big help.
What have you got there?
Look what I've got, Scooby.
What is this? Oh, say, this isn't poison ivy, is it?
Look what I picked up from the floor.
What have you got?
You've got eyes, use them.
Suppose you tell me.
Breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs.
Don't you get it? Jeeves told me. Someone stole a loaf of French bread.
Is that a fact?
I don't get it.
Likewise.
These breadcrumbs were by the first corpse's chair.
My poor Leon!
Zeza, you'll be all right. Perhaps she's my patient.
I'm the patient. I'm not well.
What do you want? An argument?
Mulligan!
Ma'am, stop talking. I forgot.
Got to listen to me, Bobby.
I think Hercules is your patient. Breadcrumbs. Do you have a straight jacket?
It's him! I know it sounds crazy, but it was Penny's husband.
Where did you see him?
He went through the hallway for the front door.
I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to find out.
I will be right back.
I'll get the telephone.
Look at that bee!
No bandits! I chased them from the garden.
It's the man Colonel! He's got a rifle! He's going to
Never fear, Chutney's on the attack.
Delivery, got peeping sight. Connor pizzas, where does it go?
Don't move, you swine.
Trust me, Mulligan. I know what I'm doing.
I should have never let you talk me into this.
Stop worrying. You'll get a promotion.
The only reason I agreed to help you is because of Detective Bobby. Unless this baffling case is solved, it's going to look bad on her record.
I wonder how Bobby's doing. She didn't look so good to me.
Colonel Tony got her in the arm and in the foot. A bullet grazed her forehead, too. It's Detective Bobby's dignity that's been outraged. Brought down by a genuine nutcase who thinks he's fighting bandits in the hills of old India.
Like I say, it's a weird case.
I'm supposed to be in charge until they send another detective.
Stop worrying, I tell you.
I know. I've got to trust you.
What a night. What a night. Another storm. Flickering lights in the shadows.
Stay out of sight till I need you.
Whatever you say. I hope I know what I'm doing.
Still here, I see, Mr. Porridge.
Obviously,
You have no right to be here. I'm asking you to leave.
I do have a right.
Oh?
Detective Bobby has left me in charge.
Ha! That's preposterous. Besides, last time I saw Bowie, she was in no position to communicate anything to anyone.
Take a seat, Miss Fitzwilliam. I expect the others at any moment.
I suppose it's best to humor you.
You wish to see me?
I'm about to solve the mysterious murders at Crimson House.
Ha!
Is this some kind of hideous joke?
You'll find out. Sit.
Better do as he says, Miss Strange. It might be amusing.
I feel awfully sorry about that policewoman. It's a wonder she wasn't killed.
Thankfully, the Colonel's a terrible shot.
Let's be grateful for small favors.
Another boat, my dear.
Got to keep her mind occupied.
I wouldn't pay any attention to what English Crispy said. The dead don't return from the grave. Please. Forgive me. I forgot what a terrible time this must be for you.
If the grieving widow would please take a chair.
I'd rather sit somewhere else.
That's where her husband died, Mr. Porridge.
Oh, slipped my mind. How about this chair?
I'm here. Would you mind telling me what all this is about?
Hercules Porridge says he's about to solve the mysterious murders at Crimson House.
How exciting!
Trust me.
If I don't get 1 or 2 bestsellers from all this, my name isn't Maud Clunk.
Maud? Plunk?
Maud Plunk?
English Crispy is my pen name. After all, I don't think I could solve many mysteries with a name like Clunk. Do you?
I wouldn't know. I'm glad to see everyone is so affected by the murders. The sorrow is overpowering.
You're not going to faint again, are you, Mrs. Russell?
I hope not, Mrs. Fitzwilliam.
Splendid.
How soon do you solve the case, Mr. Horridge?
The sooner you sit, the faster I solve.
Delicious. Murder delicious.
That's one of your titles, isn't it?
It is.
Mr. Pelgrave, you will be all right.
Who's Mr. Pilgrave? Why do you keep calling me Mr. Pilgrave?
Ah, yes. Final piece to the puzzle. Sit here, Mr. Palgrave, in the court's chair.
He was the man says, Miss Pelgrave.
Why does everyone keep calling you Mr. Pilgrave?
You think about it. All here. Good.
Cook's not here. She's at McDonald's.
Forget about that cook.
That won't be easy. We've all eaten her food.
Jeeves isn't here.
I don't worry about Jeeves. He'll show up. Sooner or later.
True.
I feel so sorry about Detective Bobby. I hate to see anyone in pain. I hope she has health insurance.
If she works for the police department, she has health insurance.
Will you cut out this idle chit-chat? None of you people seem to realize that there has been a murderer here. Two?
Mr. Russell and Mrs. Moriarty.
Oh, yeah. Two. Pay attention and learn something. You're about to see a master detective.
Oh.
He's not the famous Hoboken detective. He's the son.
Like father, like son.
There's a mole on my kneecap.
Nick one, pearl two.
What are you knitting?
Isn't anything but therapy. Calms my nerves.
I can fix you something when I mix a sedative to the nerve in your body.
No thank you, Nurse Payne.
Let's get back on track.
Track? What track?
Punch it. I know why Bridget Moriarty was murdered.
Indeed.
Don't forget, it was me in the lampshade. I overheard an interesting discussion between Mark Tailgrave and the dead Miss Moriarty.
It's not polite to listen in on other people's conversations.
So I'm rude. The dead Miss Moriarty knew that Mr. Tailgrave embezzled $1 million in his family business. Unless he gave her a significant share, she was going straight to the police.
Where am I?
This magnesiac is phony. He thinks it'll save him from prison.
Then he's not my patient.
Afraid not, Kane. I also overheard an interesting discussion between Faye Strange and Rebecca Fitzwilliam. You were blackmailing Miss Strange. As a matter of fact, I think everyone in this house was involved in blackmail.
How can you say that?
It's as plain as the nose on your face. Why would guests pay hundreds of dollars each week to stay in a dump with bad food and no TV? I'll tell you why. They weren't paying rent. They were paying blackmail.
He knows. He knows.
Shut up, Faye!
I've had enough. What difference does it make? I have no more money. We're all patients of Dr. Throwback. When he disappeared, somehow or other, Rebecca got his files. She knows all of our intimate secrets and indiscretions.
The cat's out of the bag. Now let's make it meow. Faye is telling the truth. Rebecca is a blackmailer.
I was never a patient of this Dr. Throwback.
Your husband was.
Which brings up another point. The breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs again?
Jeeves told me he saw some bum in the house making up with chow.
There's never been a dog in this house, a chow or any other breed.
Speaking of food, Miss Fitzwilliam, a loaf of French bread to be precise. Okay, Mulligan, bring him in.
There! I was right. It was him. It was Mr. Russell.
He made a big mistake. He came back for his wife, and I caught him.
I helped.
Then who was the dead man?
I told you it would work better confess.
It is true. I was a patient of Dr. Throwback. Rebecca Fitzwilliam said I had to live here so she could watch me, so she could blackmail me. I was coming to the house last night when I saw a bum stagger into the garden gulping on a bottle of soda. Not dead. I got a good look. He looked just like me.
When I went after Jeeves, I saw Leon and the dead man. Leon told me everything.
The idea came to me real fast. I would change clothes with the bum and put his body in the house.
I would identify the body.
And Penny and I would drop from sight.
Mrs. Fitzwilliam would think my husband were dead and we'd be free of the blackmailing.
Which explains the breadcrumbs. Mr. Russell here, a successful TV expletive, wouldn't be walking around spreading breadcrumbs. Ipso facto, the corpus delectable had to be someone else. Most likely a Slav, ergo the bum.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
Except for one thing. You think you are so smart, Hercules Porridge. I wouldn't. I did it. I'm the guilty one. Look no further. I blackmailed. I murdered. I'm no good. How was I?
What?
I know you're casting a new mystery play, and I know there's a part for a German nurse.
Young woman, do you mean to say you're an actress auditioning for a part in my new play?
I think she showed initiative.
So did Joy. Plastic.
I'm not taking the blame for any of this. You all think I'm the blackmailer. I'm not. I'm only working for the blackmailer. I work for Dr. Throwback. He's the criminal mind.
He disappeared. Maybe dead.
Not so. He's alive. Throwback lives.
Where is he?
That's my rogue chicken.
Cash.
Is Jeeves Dr. Throwback?
No, but he put the bug spray in the soda bottle. Naturally, he didn't think anyone would drink it.
I always break them a soda bottle.
Let me get this straight. You're not the blackmailer.
I already told you. She's working for Dr. Throwback.
Then where is this Dr. Throwback?
Allow me to answer that. I am Dr. Throwback.
You!
How did you get out of jail? I put up bail. I know it's hard to believe, but I'm not a villain. I am innocent. My young assistant got a hold of my files and decided to blackmail my patients. If I didn't do exactly as he demanded, he would reveal my secret to the world.
What secret?
I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm a podiatrist who masqueraded as a psychiatrist.
You're a good doctor! Billy was right!
Woman, you don't look anything like Dr. Throwback.
Not a bit.
I gave myself a facelift. I'm clever about things like that. I thought I could drop from sight, but my assistant was too smart for me and demanded that I keep watch on Crimson House. He said that if I pretended to be eccentric, no one would pay any attention to me.
So you made me do all the dirty work, just so no one would suspect you?
What choice did I have? The money you gave me, I gave to my former assistant.
Who is this former assistant?
Pizza. Where do you want it?
Ah, no such outlet as the speedy delivery service. Don't quiver, we deliver day or night.
How do you know that?
Delivery person never collected payment for the box of chocolates, which aroused my suspicions. So I looked it up. Jeeves was telling the truth when he said he hadn't ordered anything.
Delivery. How are your folks today? Anything wrong? Why are you staring at me? What did I do?
You want to know what you did?
Yeah, what did I mean do?
The bum died from bug spray, but you murdered Bridget Moriarty.
You bonkers. I don't know what you're driving at. Did you say anything?
The game is up. Hercules Porridge knows everything.
You mean everything?
Everything.
You're gonna pay for this. The whole world will soon know the famous Dr. Throwback was coming for the doctor. Sure, I murdered that Bridget Moriarty. She's trying to get money off Pilgrave for herself. Cutting in on my racket. And it was sweet racket too.
Until it went sour.
You heard me.
You're under arrest! My revolver's stuck in its holster!
Don't try anything or else the little old lady gets it.
Little old lady who?
I didn't know you could yodel!
Remember what I said.
Bingo!
Ah!
He's out cold. What did you put in that hypo?
Knockout drops. When I live apart, I live it down to the smallest detail.
I'll make the arrest. Hercules Porridge has solved another case.
I had? Yes, I have. Hoboken's pride, that's me.
No more blackmail. We're free!
Poor kid.
Never mind about me. I'm back on the case, and you are all under suspicion.